we count down. Okay. Good evening, everybody who's joined in. My name's David Foster. This is EVOLive. We're joined today by two very special guests, co-proprietors of the Barber's Arm. Is that the right way to describe you both?
Yeah, I think so. Co-presenters. I carry Gaz a lot every weekend. I have to carry him with my expertise and his drinking habits.
He thinks he does, David.
Okay. So proper introductions then. Simon Shaw, Global Artistic Director for Wahl, incredible industry figure. If anybody has ever been to Barber Connect, which I'm certain most of us have, that will be tuning in, you know, Simon does amazing things on that Wahl stage every year, and it's been a big miss this year, of course, given the circumstances. Gary Machin as well has joined us, who is obviously the chair of the Barber Council, educator, lead educator for the BBA, and obviously multiple barbershops as well. Gents, thank you very much indeed for joining us. It's one of these ones where the Barber's Arms has kind of changed the face of the UK barbering industry throughout this pandemic. EVOLive's tried to get involved and tried to do its own little thing as well, so it's nice to have you both on.
Nice to be on. Thanks for asking us. We don't normally work till Friday night since we're locked down, so you're interrupted as weekend here on a Monday.
I was going to say, you guys, you know, just put in for the overtime, just send it over, we'll work something out, okay?
Good.
Don't believe a word he says, David. I'm working all the time. There's only him who sat on the settee today, so I'm at work quite as we speak.
Good stuff. So, gentlemen, I think we've got a lot we want to kind of cover off in the next hour. We want to cover off what's happening just now in terms of UK barbershops, the industry, the ongoing challenges. I know both of you are obviously extremely well connected. You'll be getting a lot of feedback, a lot of comments from your peers and folk that are obviously engaging with you. I think it would be wise as well, Simon, with your participation, to talk about some of the exciting events and exciting competitions that Wahl are doing just now, their annual competitions, so we'll come on to that. And of course, it would be remiss if we didn't cover the Barber's Arms, talk through some of the guests that you guys have had, how it has literally revolutionised the UK barbering industry, and how it's just grown arms and legs as well. So I think if we kind of kick things off, gents, we are just about to hear, I'm led to believe, from the Prime Minister about a kind of update, if you like, on restrictions, particularly through parts of England. It looks like, based on the speech given to Parliament this afternoon, that it's not necessarily going to affect barbershops and salons. Touch wood, that is the case. But I wonder, maybe Simon, first of all, how do you feel the industry in the past several months has adapted? How has it performed? And how do you feel it's kind of getting along just now?
I think, look, I've said weekly, right from week one, was kind of one of mine and Gaz's job is to say it as it is, but also to try to give people a little bit of light as well, and trying to say, look, you're not on your own, and some big groups are feeling it. Now, you know, we're going through all this. I think the suburb shops and the village shops and the ones in smaller towns are doing okay, but the big city centre salons and barbershops are struggling because city centres are a lot quieter with big office blocks and stuff. So I think generally everybody's abided by the rules. I think in the beginning and now you're seeing certain sectors of the barbering industry, in particularly, not hairdressers, slightly cheating, not wearing the proper PPE. And we've said weekly, you know who you are. You've let your side down for everybody. And I think generally that people have done really well. I think I said on Friday night as well, look, we've gone through it once, this lockdown, and whatever's coming in front of us again, it's not like you're not used to it now. And I really think that we can get through it. We can do the right things at whatever's thrown at us. We need to keep open. The country needs a good fourth quarter. So my fingers are crossed for everybody who's got barbershops and hairdressing shops. But I think generally, David, we've done quite well as an industry. That's my view on it.
Mm-hmm. And Gary, from your perspective, obviously, Rogers barbershops, but also just in general, the people you're coming into contact with, the people you're speaking with, what's your own take on the current situation?
Well, without putting a downer on it too much, we're all worried. I think it's the unknown that we're worried about. We don't know exactly what's happening. We're having a lot of mixed messages. We don't know what's going to happen with the actual, you know, how we're going to be helped if things do go bad. As you know, the furlough has dropped and it finishes at the end of this month. So that's quite a worry. There is a replacement, I think, but you've got to lay staff off to access that. I think you've got to go part-time. Mm-hmm. From an employer's point of view, it's just a worrying time, full stop, really. We've got 40 staff. We don't want to lay staff off. We don't lose staff. But we're about 20% down at the moment on our normal business day to day. Which, you know, as most employees out there will know, that's your profit. So we're just all treading water, really. Yeah. We're covering costs, which is great. We don't want to lose staff, but at the same time, we need to get people out there. I think Simon's just hit it on the head, really. You know, it's a knock-on effect because people aren't going out. You know, weddings, even to work, office blocks, everything else. People have got no reason to have a haircut. I know we're pretty recession-proof in the past, but people have got want that feel-good factor, so they have a haircut, go out for a pint. Now, if you take that away, you know, the factor of going out and escaping, if you like, a little bit, then it hits us in a different way. All the trends and everything have gone out the window at the moment, so we can never look back on something because we've never gone through this before. So. From a Barber's Arms point of view, what we've tried to do, answering your question quickly, is offer a bit of a community spirit, really, within the barbershop industry. It's a bit of light-hearted entertainment, what we started off with. We've had 3.7 million views, 100,000 podcasts. We're on week 26, 27 this week. And we've just tried to highlight people within the industry, from you know, icons in the industry to, you know, people like myself who are working behind the chair. So we're just trying to inform and give them some information at the same time, and at the same time, hopefully make them giggle a little bit. So, you know, I think we've done that. So, yeah. And it's very, very good of you to ask us on and give us a complimentary, you know, big up for what we've done, really.
You say complimentary. I was waiting to ask if you are the co-proprietors, which one is the Peggy Mitchell of the Barber's Arms. I don't know if you guys want to make that decision amongst yourselves just now, or.
Well, Gaz he has everybody running about after him, you see, because he plays on that. He's busy all day Friday, so he's got about 7 assistants that work under Rachel, his beautiful partner, and she gets everything chopped up for him ready. He's a bit like James Martin, you know, he comes on and just finishes the cocktails off. But I have to do everything on myself, so I have to work a lot harder. So I would say he's the chief barmaid. And I do say barmaid.
That seems fair enough. We'll maybe just nip that one in the bud, but good stuff. Well, you know, touching upon it, guys, you've spoken about obviously how you see the industry right now. Simon, you made a really, really interesting point about we need a big Q4. Very kind of Americanized terminology, but very, very true, I think. Question to you both, given the fact that it is that time of year that's approaching, as I look to the calendar just down there, very, very quickly approaching Christmas and all the retail and the opportunities that brings, what should, in both of your opinions, barbers around the country be doing in preparation for that, given what's happened this year?
Well, from Matt, I'll just go first on this one because I've done a lot of work on this one, is that I think because there is a massive surge, people over the last 6 months who never used e-commerce sites have started using them. And you might think, well, who don't buy off Amazon? Who don't buy off that? Well, there's a probably between 50 and 70-year-olds that probably still, but they've started to do that. So we need to engage back with the consumer in barbershops and hairdressing shops and buying it, because I still think it's so much different when it's right in front of you. You know, old-fashioned sales is when you open the product up, you open the box, they sniff it, they taste it, they put the... For me, that's important. So for barbers and hairdressers, you should be maximising all aspects of retail. So in barbershops, one of the ideas I've always said is, and I'm not just saying it because we've got a brand new styling range out, which is hair dryers and straighteners, but they've got really cool colours in them, gold, pink, spearmints. Barbers, for me, should be having them because, you know, I know the numbers have gone down, but look at Gaz's business. He probably averages between 500 to 800 men a week going through his shops. Mm-hmm. That's massive opportunities to sell hair dryers, straighteners, curling tongs, retail products that men will go and buy for their missuses for Christmas boxes. So my view to all barbers and hairdressers out there is you do need a big fourth quarter, but you're going to have to upsell. Mm-hmm. You know, one of the things that I'm thinking, I think colour as well for guys. If you've got less clients coming in, you want to keep them in for longer and take more money off each customer. So colour's another thing that I'm speaking to barbers about, saying, oh, get on some colour courses, even if it's just highlights or beard colours and stuff like that. Get to know it better, because instead of taking 15 quid off a gent, you can potentially take 25 quid off a gent. You've got less numbers going through your door. So those are a couple of ideas that I have, is retail and added services.
Yeah,
absolutely. That's where I'd advise people down that road.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure, Gary, you would echo that sentiment.
Yeah, I mean, you know, that goes without. We're very good at retail as a group. You know, we really, really enjoy the retail side of things. You know, for a man now, they're more discerning. They will buy the moisturiser. They will buy the shaving product. They will ask what's in it. You know, whereas a lady, you know, they want to know the ingredients, what it does, what it's going to do. A gent, more impulse buying, really. But I think that's changed. I think that's changed probably in the last couple of years, you know, even perhaps 3 years. We sell a lot of BBA products now. The product line is probably our biggest seller. As Simon said, tools, really, really important. We have a section just for the guys buying for the ladies, so that's really important. I think making sure that you offer a good range of services, I think it's really important. Now we've all gone to appointment-based services as well, has made a massive difference on time spent with clients. It isn't more of a conveyor belt anymore. We're having less clients through the door, so you've got to maximise your opportunities with the client as well. So, you know, with services, shaving is back on the menu again. Colouring, as you said, you know, something you can build on. But it's all about customer service for me. You've got to make sure that every single client that comes through the door is absolutely made up, you know, perfect customer service. So they return. You've got to make sure you keep your clients and make sure that they return. But I think generally this is our quiet time now. Usually October, November, we quiet down and we have a little spurt for end of term, half term, but I don't know if that'll happen because people aren't going away. But then we've got the Christmas run in then. Depending on what happens with the pubs and what Boris does for us, you know, we'll have to see. But I think it's going to be a little bit slower going into Christmas, but hopefully people are going to pick up and we'll have that feel-good factor back before we actually hit Christmas.
Yeah, I think you've actually, maybe not intentionally, but you've kind of drawn the attention to something that's a real correlation. And Simon, you and I actually spoke about this off air just before we started, that the lack of maybe folk going out, going to weddings, going to parties, having social events to attend, having, you know, work events to attend, etc. It's going to cause a strain on this industry. Folk maybe having less of a requirement to get their hair done, to do this, do that, whatever else. But I never thought of it like that, Gary. I think you've raised a very good point there. Hopefully the closure of pubs and restaurants, which has happened in the Central Belt in Scotland just now, across Glasgow, Edinburgh, slightly north of that into Stirling, but also from what the Prime Minister's already mentioned in Parliament today, that potentially places like Liverpool, for example, in the northwest, may have similar closures to start with. there is such a close link there, isn't it? And if folk don't have the Christmas parties to go to when it comes to December, then is that going to also make it a little bit more quieter in the chair? But then all the more reason, as you guys have said, to work with your clients, to encourage them into, you know, purchasing the products that you use in their hair. This is something that, to me, as the layman in this discussion, this is something that barbers should be getting better at, because when times do improve, when hopefully, you know, fingers crossed, this pandemic, we can move on from it, then they should really be firing on all cylinders.
I mean, I think what we've got to remember, David, is as well, we've done the hard bit by getting the client through the door. I mean, that is the hardest thing to do. But once they're in there, take that opportunity then to upsell, like you said, you know, whether it be gifting or for their own personal use. You know, we're averaging 200 plus clients per week through each location. So, you know, we're looking at a lot of people that are coming through the system. And if you don't take control of that, even if you only do 20%, that's a lot of product being sold as well. So I think the main thing is giving that after sales service, how they use it, when they use it, how much they use, putting it into the hand, letting them feel it, using it on the client. You've got to do that to make that connection. And if you don't, I think it's just a complete lost. You know, it's when you're actually missing that opportunity, it's a big miss. Yeah,
absolutely. Simon, what is your take on? We spoke about the industry and how it's adapted and how it's kind of, you know, been able to reopen at long last. If you recall, it was one of the final industries that was allowed to reopen. Trim Dependence Day, 4th of July, etc., etc. Do you feel the industry's done a really good job in terms of encouraging clients back to the door, or do you think there's gaps there that could be improved on?
I think people's habits have changed, unfortunately, in that 6 months lockdown. You know, people's habits change in terms of hair. So I think there's a few, you know, customers that probably potentially have started cutting their own hair, started doing things like that. So that's changed. That's going to be tough for people to get their head around. I do think they'll come back. I do think they'll eventually come back into the fold. I think generally as an industry, we've done the best we can, because there wasn't clear guidance, face masks, gloves, no gloves, facial service, no facial services, fucking shambles, to be fair. So I think we've had to learn as we've gone along. So I think, you know, as an industry, we've done as best we can. Never gone through this before. Lots of people are doing it properly. Look at the PPE now it's available, and look how better it's become to when it first came out. So I think whatever's going to be in front of us now for the next rules and regulations, I think we'll be in good shape to continue doing it well with better equipment and continue to keep this industry open.
I think that's very well put. I think you're absolutely right. I think barbershops have adjusted, salons have adjusted, they've kind of adapted to what is the kind of current situation. And as you say, they're resilient. You know, it's a resilient industry. It's an industry that kind of picks itself up and brushes itself down, and more the power to people that are doing everything right. Before we kind of move on,
to be honest, David, as well, I think because we are how we are within the industry, you know, we've got great people, passionate people. You haven't got to be on the negatives, have we? We've got to be on the up. I'd cut hair in my underpants if it meant opening. You know, you've got to be. You wouldn't like to see, but no, you've got to be positive. And the cleaning down, you know, the extra that we go now, it's normal. It feels so natural now that it doesn't even take any extra time off.
That's a good point.
Wearing a mask, not a problem anymore. I don't feel, you know, it's a problem. And as long as we keep following that, and I think it shows in areas where people are towing the line and following the regulations, trying to do the right thing, they are the areas that will stay open and they won't get the extra restrictions put in place. So everybody out there, you just got to do your bit, you know. So I think wearing the PPE and everything else now, it's going to be with us for a long time. So we've got to get used to it to make the best of it.
Yeah, I think you're right. It kind of has become normal, hasn't it? And I guess the kind of final question on this particular topic that I wanted to kind of run past you both, Given that barbershops were kind of pretty much one of the last industries, because of the close nature of the contact, it was one of the last industries that was able to reopen legally back in July. But we look now and we see what's happened to the hospitality sector. Bars, restaurants, I mentioned in Scotland just now, and likely to happen in the northwest and parts of the northwest of England. Do you think that's actually, it's almost like a pat on the back to the barber industry, the fact that there hasn't been any mention of them having to close down again or be restricted, but actually it's hospitality that has? Do you think that's maybe the government trying to say that actually barbershops on the whole have impressed, they've done things the way they wanted to do? Because if you recall, Gary, you were with us when we did a round table with a lot of the different, various trade bodies, associations, etc. back June, July time. And we were concerned that maybe because of the lack of regulation in the hair industry in the UK, that maybe government felt that barbershops and salons weren't going to do things right. Do you think it's maybe changed now, the view on barbershops and salons?
I think barbershops in the whole and salons have done the right thing, but we're in control of our own environment, aren't we? Mm-hmm. Most barbershop owners and salon owners, they want to stay open. It's, we cannot go another 15 weeks without being paid. So I think from our point of view, we're in charge of our own environment. I think hospitality is a different animal altogether, because even though the owners of pubs, food outlets and all the rest and public place, even though they want to do the right thing, once you start putting alcohol and groups of people together, I think it's a lot harder to control, just by the nature of how we are. I mean, myself included, when we have a drink on our own on a Friday in front of, with my, my good friend Simon, by the end of the night, you've had a couple, your judgment's impaired. And I think that's where the problem comes from. So they're between a rock and a hard place, really, the hospitality industry is. And I think it's the whole nature of what they do. It's hard. And I don't know if there's an easy answer to it either, really.
Yeah. Simon?
Yeah, I'm same. I'd like to think that the government had scientifically were chosen industries that, first of all, needed to stay open. Does barbershops need to stay open? Well, not necessarily. It's not like life and death for us to keep open. Has there been a lot of researchers and a lot of research done to say, look, there's not a lot of cases come from being in a barbershop? I don't know if that's the case. I think just generally they looked at it and think, these guys have done everything, the most of the places you're going out are wearing PPE. They've done a good job. They've played ball. They've behaved themselves. So it should be one of those industries that's less at risk. I think Gaz just hit a nail on the head. We've all gone out. We've all gone into pubs and you've walked through the right door. You've signed in. You've done the PPE. You've done the hand sanitizer. If there's 2 people in the toilet, you've waited. That's before the first 4 pints of Stella. Once they kick in, it's a different ballgame altogether. So I can understand it that they're going to struggle after this announcement, or even over the week up to Friday. And I think a lot of people, I'm speaking to somebody locally in Barnsley, and he said, look, we're not opening now on a Friday night because we just can't, we're having to work twice as hard for half of the money that we used to earn, paying security, door people, staffing, for them what we get in. People's habits are changing. They're going out early. They're going out at like 3-4 o'clock. Yeah. And because obviously the last orders are on, I don't know how it's in Scotland, but he says you've got to be, it's 10 o'clock, but you're out of the building at 10. So most people are calling last orders about 9:15. And craftily, I watched somebody yesterday order 4 pints about 9:15, and he was refused.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
so look, it's going to be tough for landlords, and landladies, but I think it's going to happen.
Yeah, this is it. Well, listen, I think we've kind of ended that segment on a positive point. I like to think the way that you thought there, Simon, that people see that barbershops have adapted, that they've done the right things. By and large, 99%, they've done things as to be expected or as they should. Continuing on that kind of positive vibe, gents, Simon in particular, tell me a little bit about the Wahl UK competitions, the annual competitions that I believe are actually, the entries close this Friday.
Yeah, so it would have been easy this year. So it wouldn't have been easy this year. First of all, you know, everybody at Wahl UK and Wahl globally thanks every single one of our customers and users who have supported us in these tough times and have continued to buy clippers in their thousands to use professionally, you know, our consumer business as well. So thank you to everybody. It would have been easy to everybody to understand not to do a competition that we would do at Salon International. From our point, we have to do what's the next best thing, which is doing this virtually. So Friday, I think, is the deadline for the Barbershop of the Year and the Barber of the Year. That will be judged. The first lot of judging is done in Sheffield on the 21st of October. Then for the finalists, the 6 finalists, where they normally come onto stage at Salon and do their stint, they're going to send in video submissions that have to be in by the 2nd, I think, of November. Our judges then get 6 videos that have to be judged between the 2nd and the 6th of November. And I think then the announcements, which we're going to try and do something a little bit special with the trophies and music and build it up as much as possible, will be announced on mid-November. I think it's the 19th or something like that, the date. But have a look on our website, Wahl website for that. We've tried to do the next best thing, give the best version of it. We've got to continue to move forward. We're going to be back next year, so we need a new Barber of the Year. And Carl Taylor, who won it last year, got his contract with Wahl. That's what this competition were always designed to do, or to increase the artistic team members. And we have 2 now. I know it doesn't sound a big return on 7 competitions. We've had 2 returns, which is Andrea Raymond and Carl Taylor. But you know, in those 2 out of the 7 comps we've run, they're well worth it. They've been well worth the fine. So hopefully 2020 is no surprise. It'll go down in history that this was done virtually. So whoever wins it will have that kind of virtual category underneath them. But yeah, we're going to continue to do that as much as we can in the right way.
It really is a kind of money can't buy opportunity, isn't it? It's something so unique. And you know, we were speaking to your colleagues out in the States. They do their own kind of variant, obviously the online barber battle, but again, that gateway, if you like, to being on that education team, to learning how you guys, you know, operate on stage, how you guys kind of promote the brand wherever you go. And we're all hopeful that trade shows come back in 2021.
It's been said as well, you know, you listen to different, I say in disguise on lots of different barber groups, and it's kind of there's lots of competitions out there, but it's kind of the one that people want to win. It's the Champions League. I mean, we have the Champions League trophy. It's a replica.
Yeah.
It's the kind of the one you want to win. You've got a trophy that's worth having in your shop. You've got that title. You've got that year's mentoring. You know, you've got probably a grand's worth of clippers. So from a prize point of view, it's that massive opportunity, not just on the day, but over the 12-month period. It's a great opportunity for somebody. So good luck to everybody that's entering. High numbers again this year, really high numbers. So hopefully by this time next week, what day is it today? Monday,
all day.
This time a week on Wednesday, we'll know the 6 finalists are, know the 6 Barbershop of the Year finalists are.
Brilliant.
Keep tuned.
Do you know what though, David and Sam? You know, it's an iconic competition, and to be ashamed to. I think we've got to keep certain things going as well up to a point. People expect it leaves a big hole. You know, we've got no shows happening, but it doesn't mean that some of these things can go on. So events like that, I think, you know, to keep it a little bit of normality, you need these things to be still going on as well. You've got to do our best.
Yeah, totally agree with you. And I think as well, speaking of things that should be kept on, let's move on to the Barber's Arms, because, you know, again, you know, it's I've said it before, it has kind of revolutionised the barbering community, if you like, in the UK and beyond. You know, folk often think, you know, Friday, last haircut, I'm just going to switch off, you know, big Saturday, and then hopefully enjoy the rest of the weekend. But actually, Friday nights, live in the Barber's Arms, I think we worked out that Gary is the Peggy Mitchell of the two of you. Where did this all come about, guys? Because I think when everybody kind of saw it at first, it was kind of like, okay, this is good, this is light-hearted. But actually, it's continued, it's grown exponentially, and it's a Friday evening's kind of must-watch TV, isn't it?
Well, I think from the BBA point of view, I mean, Trevor Studd and Jackie Holy, and they were the instigators. They got myself and Simon involved, and I don't mind saying that. Trevor is the production side of things. Jackie, she's the fixer. She sorts everything out. But the Barber'sArms.co.uk now has become its own entity. It's been so successful that it's gone on to be better than we ever imagined. As I said earlier, it started off as a bit of a light-hearted entertainment to keep the members of the BBA informed and, have a bit of community spirit. But not only that, it's grown into worldwide, global, I'll use the word global, spot now, where, we've got, like I said, we've got nearly 4 million views now. So it's a fantastic opportunity for the guys to build on as well. And I think he went to another level when Wahl got involved and sponsored it. So, they recognise the value of it. And we've had so many complimentary comments from around the world that, it almost saved us a little bit as well. It saved our sanity while we were in. We had 14, 15 weeks of lockdown. I mean, Simon isn't back at work properly yet, but we had 15 weeks of nothing. So it helped me as much as anything else to give you a purpose. I don't know about you, Simon, but it was a great thing to get involved in.
Yeah, certainly. When we were approached, we were only approached a couple of weeks before it actually went live, and we spoke about it, sold us the idea of it, and then we said, look, I said personally, let's give it a couple of weeks and see how we feel, see how it went. I think it took about 4 weeks. I enjoyed doing it, but it took 4 weeks to get the bug. And I think then from week 4 to probably week 15, we had 10 or 11 episodes where everything were just geared around getting to Friday night. You look forward to it so much because you were growing views. You were going from 8,000 to 20,000 to 50,000. Then we had a big celebration when we got 100,000 views. And then I think there was one episode that we had 405,000 views within 6 days. So we were really looking forward to that. And Gary just said, it's come from just a casual, light humoured banter with serious messages in there. I think we get his message across, but in a way that you want to listen. I don't look at sometimes if there's like 26 watching us or 17, or like if you're looking now, there's 20, 22 or 95 watching us now. You don't look at that. I look at what happens in the week. How many people are watching in the week, what the views are. Scientifically, Trevor, the producer, will really break it down for us, give us a pie chart of where they're watching us from, how many minutes they're watching us for. So I know it looks like we're just having a bit of a laugh, but there's a proper agenda there. There's script, and it's like a chat show. Yeah, it's gone from. There's been, yourself with this, David. We've gone from everybody's been an amateur interviewer and lots of interviews because that's what we had to do. This has been different in my eyes. It's been different. It's had a proper chat show feel to it, and I think that's what's captivated the people that we've interviewed. But also, we're at a great position where we're having lots of top people saying, when can I get on Barber's Arms? When can I get interviewed? It's one of those now. I want to get on Barbers. I want you to interview me on Barber's Arms. So we've been very, very lucky with that. We've worked hard on it, and hard work pays off.
Well, this is it, and I think you made a really good point there as well, that it's kind of grown from being a kind of core UK-based audience. A lot of key figures and names that everybody will know, but it really has gone global. And one of the kind of nice things, again, from our perspective, is even speaking to barbers that we do in North America on an almost daily basis. They'll often ask about it. What is it? Who are the guys behind it? What's the purpose? How do I get involved? Kind of thing. So it really has kind of grown arms and legs, and I bet you didn't kind of foresee it getting to that kind of scale and size and being global when you started.
I think also we've been very lucky that the caliber of clients, the caliber of people that we've interviewed and had on the show has been fantastic. From like I say, from iconic status to people, you know, market leaders, stakeholders. We've had a real cross-section of guests on there. To also, what it was all about was help the barbering community, the everyday barber out there. That's why we had the local heroes. That was a great idea to bring people on, look around the barbershop, because we're all nosy. We all want to know what's going on. We all want to see what's going on. So we thought that was a really good place to head for as well, because we wanted to do something for the barber and support the barbers in this country as well, and you know, and abroad. So, but I mean, with the contacts that Simon's got, and Trevor and Jackie and myself, hopefully we give you a good cross section of people on the show every week. Absolutely,
yeah, that's how it comes across, and a kind of evolution from that, if you will, because is it 26 episodes? Friday was your 26th, is that right?
Yeah.
I mean, my goodness, that's half a year, guys.
I know, tell us about it. It's flawed. I mean, one of the things that's really good as well is what people don't kind of get with me, and Gaz get it. He kind of just like, he don't give you goosebumps, because I think I've been very fortunate with my career to have a knack of hitting the button in the right areas at the right time. I've had a knack of how to get an audience going. And there's things on the wall stages that you know is going to happen. You know you're going to get some cheesy music. You know you're going to be throwing T-shirts into the audience. You know you're going to come. It's going to be loud. It's going to be buzzing. You're going to have people on stage wearing black suits, looking shit up. You know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
What you've got on Barbers Arms now is you've got guests coming who have watched the episode, so they know that the quick fire questions at the end. What's your favourite food? What's your favourite? And as they're saying it, we're building up a story of saying, okay, we've got Errol Douglas who's sat in Mauritius. He's having a porn star martini. He's sat with Cindy Crawford and he's listening to Boyzone. That's what we do. And you know you're going to get Gaz's cocktail. You know you're going to get. There's just certain things that happen every week. That are now staple things that happen, and it's becoming an household thing. When people speak to us, say they'll say stuff to you like on Barbers Arms, like, "Do you really drink tequila that much? What's moon? You got your moonshine face on." So I think from that point of view, one thing that we've created is something that people look every week. And I tell you what happened over lockdown is, people would phone me up and say, "I've Friday night's my night, we're not at work. I've had a shower. I've put my aftershave on to sit in front of my screen." And me and Gaz would say, we'd get showered, you get ready, as if you're going to go out. You'd have your little bar area with your drinks and there's bar backdrops. And that's what we wanted to create for people at home. And I think we did that. Lots of people used to send us photographs on our feeds and stuff saying, "That's my little bar set at home." I mean, how many sales of moonshine's gone through the ceiling? Newcastle Brown sales, Desperado sales. So I think we've done really well for that side of industry. But yeah, I think those are the things that I've looked at and thought, you know what? It's kind of clever the way we've done that without trying. It's just happened naturally.
It's just happened, yeah. And I think, again, the two of you are able to kind of have a laugh at your own expenses. You're able to have that banter. And you're right, even, what's the kind of favourite drink of one of your guests, and building a story together and having that kind of staple. It's almost like a traditional show that you would tune in for on a regular basis. So it's been great to tune in and watch along. But of course, we've kind of gone from that idea, that concept. It's kind of blown out of proportion. It's kind of grown and grown and grown, which has been great fun. And we sincerely hope it continues to do so. But what has come from that, and I'm sure it's been feedback that you guys have had, Simon, you said about phoning you up and saying, "Look, this is going well, this is a good laugh." But you've now taken it to another level, because 2020, unlike any other year, we've not been able to go to, football matches, we've not been able to go to concerts, we've not been able to go to barbering trade shows. So the Barbers Arms Virtual Trade Show comes into it. So where did this one come from, and what is the kind of plan in place? Gary, I know you've been very much at the forefront. Tell me a little bit about this.
Well, you've seen the promo, but I think what we've got to remember is the virtual trade show is just a small part of the new platform that we've put together for the barbersarms.co.uk. People can access the site. The virtual show, the virtual trade show, is going to be a small part of that, and there's going to be many more events. We've already had a couple of events already. We had the UK Education Day, and then we had the 24-hour Education Day as well, which is almost like, if you know, from a trade show point of view, it was like a main stage. You had great educators from all over the world, you know, all in every continent. We had from China, North America, you know, Australia, all over Europe. So that the virtual show is just a little part of what's coming on the platform. People can still access the education, but what it's doing is it's going to be an interactive show for the viewer to access education products, so they can buy products at the same time. But not only that, it's going to be a marketplace all the time to buy products, buy tools, buy equipment, buy education at trade prices. So, you know, we've got some great companies involved, which Wahl are spearheading that again. You know, we can't thank them enough. But through Simon's hard work and Jackie and Trevor, you know, we've got BBA products, Homage, Mataki, we're talking to at the moment. You know, there might be some great news there. So, you know, we're attracting great companies as well. But not only that, people have got to remember it's something that they can access, and it's going to be there for a long time. And so it's just a small part of a bigger picture or a bigger platform that's going to be available. I know Simon's worked tirelessly behind the scenes, so he knows more about the actual sponsors and the companies that are getting involved as well. And he can talk from a Wahl point of view, what they want, you know, what they want to get out of the show.
Yeah, good point, Simon. Obviously, you've been involved with the Barber's Arms since episode 1. What about Wahl's perspective? What's the opportunity?
You know, we just want to attend. You know, we never do an exhibition unless we think we can do it to our best ability. So for us, our mindset's always been an exhibition is to launch brand new equipment with your best ever hairdressers and barbers on stage. You're making your stage look the best it's ever looked. It's an exhibition, exhibiting your company. So when I go to exhibitions and see people selling off like stuff that they can't get rid of at bargain bucket prices and stuff, that's not what it's about for me. So when we got the opportunity to actually look at being involved on the steering committee for an exhibition, it was like, do you know what? I've always loved to get an exhibition where there's like just no stand. Every stand's got fantastic educators, got the best products. We'll do it right. We'll put all the efforts into it. So just to get involved on like a small number of stands that's going to be there, top brands, no crossover brands. There's no point having 11 stands in the virtual trade show and 6 of them are scissor brands. You don't want a crossover, and you want everything to link together. So if we're using, for instance, REM chairs or Belmont chairs, or, you know, I'm not going to mention any specific name, but whatever chair we use, that we're all using the same chair, or we're kind of using the same scissors and we're using the same clippers. So that's the kind of idea that we wanted to do. From our point of view, good exercise to just keep us there. You have to defend your number one position. So we're not in a great position where we've got lots of stock. So for us, it's not about retail, and there will be some items for sale over that weekend. But again, it's just an opportunity for our presenters and platform hairdressers to be working on an exhibition, and just to keep that number one status. You know, we want to keep doing the right thing. So that's how we've looked at it.
Will there be any of that cheesy music that you mentioned? Will there be any of the Neil Diamond, which of course is synonymous with Simon Shaw on the Wahl stage?
Do you know what? Something popped up on my Facebook a few days ago, which was the Shabba Awards. When I got the Shabba Awards before we started the show, I got them all warmed up with Sweet Carolina. Even then, I watch it now, it gives me goosebumps to say that there were like 1,000, 80%, 90% of that audience were Scots, but every single one of them got up, and you know, you miss that. If anybody says what's the main part, my main part I miss is being in front of a live audience. It's tough. The problem we have with music is on Zoom or Facebook or Teams and stuff, the sound doesn't come over quite well, so you can actually distort the kind of quality. Yeah. We're working on certain things to make it better, and I'm sure by the time we get back to normality, we could do an amazing show live on Zoom or Teams, and we know. But I'll exchange that. If we're ready to do music and everything's great on Zoom, but at that point we're actually back in front of a live audience, I'll take that any day.
Yeah, exactly. So, Gary, you mentioned the URL. So not just for barbers, salon stylists, etc., professionals in the industry to log in, to sign up, to register, to learn, to view the different virtual booths, etc. But also for companies that maybe feel that they've just not had that trade show opportunity that they would normally take up on. Where can they go to get that information?
Well, you can get in touch with myself or Simon, but the main person you need to speak to is Trevor Studd or Jackie Holian. They actually run that side, the production side of things. But if you go on to the barbersarms.co.uk, you can get all the information there. If you struggle there, you can go on thebritishbarbers.co.uk, and you can visit the website as well. But I'm sure if anybody needs any information whatsoever, just drop us a line and we will get in touch with you and put you in the right position.
Good stuff. Okay, good stuff. And what we'll do is on the Facebook, we'll leave a comment after this is finished as well, when it gets punted out there, just with the details of where people can sign up. I've had a look at it myself this afternoon, Gary. Thanks for sending the link to that. Definitely something that folks should read up on, get involved in. And the date of the trade show, the first kind of big trade show as part of this, is the
29th and 30th of November.
29th and 30th of November, one for the diaries, folks. I think, guys, we've covered quite a bit there. We've obviously covered, you know, the kind of ongoing situation just now, getting both of your opinions based on, obviously, your vast experience and industry knowledge, the Wahl events that are taking place. Simon, you're obviously going to be involved in the judging of that. I know you look forward to that every year. The Barbershop of the Year, the Barber of the Year. That is this Friday, the entries close, so people should get involved if they haven't already. The Barber's Arms, every Friday, guys. If anybody watching hasn't tuned in, or they've maybe looked at it and thought, I'm not sure what's going on here, give it time. You know, these guys had to give it time. You're going to enjoy it. You'll have a good laugh. And I think as well, guys, you know, from all at BarberEVO, from our team, you know, we appreciate the efforts you guys have gone to try and build that community, to try and kind of put the right spirit and the right level of positivity in there. So thank you from all of us.
And I've watched you guys as well. I've got to say, you know, I'm very politically correct, so I'll never say any magazine's my favourites and stuff. But I've watched what you guys have done on live. You mentioned one when Gaz were on the round table, the panel. It's probably one of the only things I've watched through to its entirety. I think your topics have been spot on. I think you've had the right guests on. I think your level of questions and the way that you let people speak is really good as well. So I've really watching what BarberEVO's done. You've made a big splash in the industry. I know we at Wahl support you guys. I know Chris works really close with you and Andrew. Yeah, there you go. Front cover off Blakey. So yeah, we're very good about we do stuff. And so look, thanks for having us on. Don't forget, guys, it's episode. I'll do a link now for Barbers Arms. Don't forget, guys, it's episode 27. This Friday on Barbers Arms. If you want to look at us on our website, which is www.barbersarms.co.uk, or follow me and Gaz, the British Barber, Simon Shaw, Wahl on our Instagrams. And if you want to email us, it's britishbarber@barbersarms.co.uk. So don't forget to get in touch and see us at episode 27. We've got fantastic guests. Gaz has got a best cocktail ever, which he's going to drink in his shorts on Friday night. He told the production team. So don't forget to get in there and join us on. And if you want to put in that you're a new visitor and you've seen it from BarberEVO, then we'll make sure we send a crate of champagne. Gaz will buy it, send it up to the lads at BarberEVO for sending us all them customers. Thank you very much. There you go. That's a little feed for Friday night.
Simon, that was impressive. You've done this 26 times at least. That was fantastic. Gary, any parting words from yourself that could match up to that?
And do you know what? How can I follow that every time? He just leaves me speechless every time. What a professional. No, I've loved every minute of it. I've been very lucky to be part of it. I love Simon. He's a great guy. And thank you very much for having us on and doing such a great job, mate.
Good stuff. Listen, thank you very much, Simon Shaw, Gary Machin, everybody that's tuned in. This is BarberEVO. We'll catch you soon. Okay, look after yourself.
David, thanks very
much.
See you Friday, guys.
See you later.